Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning if you're on the West Coast like me. We're going to get started in a little bit under a minute. We're just giving people some time to join the virtual room.
Okay, everybody, welcome. We are, how are we, do we want to give you more time? Are we good?
Oh, no, I think we can go ahead and start. I was going to turn it over to you, Skip.
Okay, great. Thank you. We had a smooth hand over there. So thank you for your patience. Welcome. We are so excited to join you virtually in the beautiful state of Idaho. We want to offer greetings to the partners of the Administration for Community Living and to my agency, the Office of Community Services. Of course, to the ACL and OCS staff who helped make this happen, and to many other stakeholders from across the United States. We really do thank you for being here. Typically, OCS Director Dr. Howard and Deputy Assistant Secretary Walker would go on informal site visits like this in person. But obviously, we're constrained by that. But by doing this virtual visit, it opens up to hundreds of people from across the country. And we're really excited to expand that and have you a part of this. You may have noticed my Washington, D.C. cherry blossoms in the background. You also probably noticed that you've been muted and your video has been turned off. So don't be offended. We just don't want to steal attention from our presenters or crash our government Zoom. So we've got that to think about too. But please feel free to express yourself at any time via the chat. So we're recording this session to share later so that you know that. And also our staff will be noting any questions and that you submit through the Q&A portion for the questions and in chat for other comments and issues. So today, Dr. Howard and DAS Walker are honored and excited to spend some time dedicated to describing what their incredible organizations do, but even more importantly, showcasing these amazing local agencies that are doing critically necessary and powerful work down in the field in Idaho. And we're going to really enjoy hearing their stories. So as we said, feel free to put anything into the chat that you want. Hopefully you won't have any technical issues. And that's enough from me. I'm going to hand this over to our talented leaders. And thank you very much for joining us in this journey to Idaho. Over to Mr. Walker.
Thank you so very much, Skip. Thank you for that kind introduction and welcome. Good morning to our colleagues in Idaho and the Western states, and certainly good afternoon to those of us in the Central US and Eastern Seaboard. As Skip mentioned, I'm Edwin Walker, and I have the pleasure of serving at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as the lead for all things aging at the Administration for Community Living, or ACL, which has the lead on human services supports related to older adults and persons with disabilities. As Skip indicated, I'm the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Aging, and I've had the distinct pleasure of working with the Administration on Aging, which is a component within ACL, for the past 30 years. Prior to that, I served as the director of the Missouri Division of Aging, and I often tell folks that I fell into the field of aging and then I fell in love with it. And that love and sense of doing something of great value based on programs and a nationwide network of dedicated and committed agencies and individuals, all who work toward providing information, assistance, and supports focused on maintaining and improving the health of older individuals and enabling them to stay in their own homes and communities where they prefer, is really the reason I've done this work for so long. A critical component of our nationwide aging services network is Area Agencies on Aging, or AAAs. They are entities designated within each state with responsibility to assess needs and plan services for older individuals, and they do a great job of doing that. But another critical function and responsibility of AAAs is to develop a comprehensive and coordinated service delivery network to meet the varied and diverse needs of older individuals in their service area. That means well beyond the funding we provide, AAAs are responsible for becoming aware of and coordinating with other programs, other organizations, and services that can benefit and enhance the health and the lives of older people. And then they are to develop a relationship with those entities so that they can access services for older individuals in their communities. That's why we're really here today. That's why the day's event is quite important, because it's all about the best examples of coordination. And we're so pleased to be able to conduct a virtual site visit to an area agency on aging in Idaho and hear about their work and the work of their collaborating partners. And we're doing this in the month of May, which is both Older Americans Month and Community Action Agency Awareness Month. And our two federal agencies, the Administration for Community Living and the Administration for Children and Families, which represents these two areas, are so pleased to collaborate in this joint celebration. You see, Older Americans Month began initially as Senior Citizens Month in 1963, following a meeting between President Kennedy and the members of the National Council of Senior Citizens. Historically, it's been a time to acknowledge the contributions of the past and current older persons in our country. And every president since Kennedy has issued a formal proclamation asking that the entire nation pay tribute in some way to older persons in their communities. President Biden encouraged us in his proclamation to acknowledge that Americans across the span of age make an impact in building a more perfect union. The month is celebrated across the country with celebrations, events, and a variety of activities. This year, the 2022 theme is Age My Way, an opportunity for all of us to explore the many ways older adults can remain in and be involved with their communities. During May and beyond, we would love for you to please acknowledge and to recognize that older Americans are our neighbors, our parents, our friends. They are also medical workers, social workers, and educators working as heroes throughout the pandemic. They are volunteers. They are us. And as our families, friends, and neighbors all age, our agency supports the philosophy that individuals should be able to live and to thrive in their communities and age with the support of that community, but to do it with dignity. So let's turn to today. The Administration for Community Living is here with our sister agency, the Office of Community Services within ACL, and its director, Dr. Laniqua Howard, who you will hear from very shortly. 2 years ago, Dr. Howard and I came together across the silos that are often created by separate programs to determine how we could collaborate to best serve individuals in communities. Today, you'll hear from one of the model organizations that brings together our two areas of services and supports. We wanted to share their efforts and experiences with you. And because our very innovative and creative staff, we've developed this virtual site visit where you'll have the opportunity to hear from them and to observe how they collaborate. We know that some of you are collaborating and working seamlessly on behalf of the people and the needs in your communities. Others have not yet maximized the relationship between the Community Services Network and the Area Agency on Aging Network. We want to encourage even more partnerships that embrace supports across the programs to serve what we refer to as the whole community by providing today's visit as an example of what really is possible. And so I'm honored and thrilled to have an opportunity to introduce Lisa Stoddard, Executive Director of Community Action Partnership, or CAP. Lisa has worked in management and leadership at CAP headquartered in Lewiston, Idaho, for 29 years and has served as the executive director for the past 18. She's also served as the Region 10 board president, served on regional conference planning committees, and as a member of the Region 10 Futures Initiative, which created the regional theory of change and shared metrics to measure community action impact in the Northwest. Lisa is one of the founding commissioners of the National Equity and Economic Mobility Commission, addressing and advising on historical and widespread inequity in our communities. She holds a bachelor's degree in English and secondary education from the University of Montana and is a certified community action professional. Lisa's going to talk to us about how CAP and the AAA network came together. She's going to tell us about their structure and their shared values and service. We're really looking forward to hearing from her. So colleagues, I'm so pleased to present to you Lisa Stoddard. Lisa?
Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to welcome you to North Idaho. We wish that you could all be here in person with us, but we're thrilled at the opportunity to host Deputy Assistant Secretary on Aging Walker and Director of the Office of Community Services, Dr. Howard, and those of you who are joining us online. It's wonderful to be a part of this as a community action program that is co-located with an area agency on aging. We're thrilled to celebrate both Older Americans Month and Community Action Awareness Month during the month of May to celebrate with all of you. So thank you for the kind introduction. As Mr. Walker said, I am Lisa Stoddard. I'm the Executive Director of Community Action Partnership, headquartered in Lewiston, Idaho. My pronouns are she and her. And I want to start off my remarks to you by acknowledging that CAP staff live and work on the traditional lands of the Nez Perce, the Coeur d'Alene, and the Kootenai peoples. And we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded that land throughout the generations. We honor elders past and present and future generations and commit to ongoing and expanded partnership. If you could go to the next slide, that would be great. So I wanted to start by sharing with you Community Action Partnership's vision. And almost 20 years ago now, the leadership at Community Action Partnership went through a transformational leadership process. And as part of that process, we recognized that we were very siloed, not just a silo separating community actions work with the area agency on aging, but with within departments within our organization. And so we committed to intentionally including all programs housed within CAP, envisioning and planning, so that we were committed to a shared vision. We were committed to planning together. And so our vision statement is about 20 years old now, but still rings true for us today. And that is that we want everybody in our community, all people, all ages, to have some sufficient reasons, relationships, and meaning in their lives to thrive. We value every single person in our community and want to help them to use their talents, their potential, and their passions, and become equipped to achieve their full potential. We try to live out this vision on a daily basis. And if you would go to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about the desire that we have to meet everyone where they are and assist them in whatever ways work best for them. We're committed to being very person-centered in our approach. And interestingly, and some of the rest of you have probably seen this as well, one of the, I think, silver linings of COVID is that we realized that there were barriers to us being able to assist people in ways that worked best for them that were somewhat artificial. In some cases, those were barriers that were put in place by funding sources, but in some cases, they were also barriers that we had put in place. And so if there is a silver lining of COVID, one of those things is that we are more committed even to getting rid of those barriers and to really um, assisting people however they need us to meet them. So in 2021, CAP served 26,000, just over 26,000 unduplicated individuals, and just over 4,000 of them were 60 and older. So we're committed, and we're excited to see numbers like that that show that we're serving people across all ages in our communities. Next slide. So just a little bit more about who we are. Community Action Partnership serves the 11 counties, 10 in northernmost Idaho, and in Stoughton County in Washington. In doing this work for a long time and connecting with lots of community action leaders, I know that we are one of the very few community action programs that actually serves across state lines. In 5 of the counties that we serve in North Central Idaho, the Area Agency on Aging is housed with us. We are the Area Agency on Aging in those 5 North Central counties. In the 5 northernmost counties in our service area, we partner with the Area 1 Agency on Aging. And in Stoughton County in Washington, we partner with Aging and Long-Term Care, which is also an Area Agency on Aging program. So we come to you being able to kind of talk through that experience of not only being co-located and recognizing the AAA in our area in North Central Idaho as an integral part of the work that we do, but also in working to partner effectively with the AAAs in the AAAs that are in the areas surrounding North Central Idaho. We decided when we did our transformational leadership process that we would not look just at the AAA housed in North Central Idaho with us as a separate a kind of stand alongside entity, but that we would look at them as an integral part of the work that we did as a community action program and work to provide seamless service and program delivery to people of all ages and families in our communities. Next slide. So this is a graphic that shows you in the dark blue, this is our service territory. So those are the 10 counties in Idaho, and the small blue county on the left-hand side is Stoughton County in Washington. And so in the 5 northernmost counties, we partner with the Area 1 Agency on Aging. In the 5 North Central counties in the middle there, we are the Area Agency on Aging co-located with CAP. And in Stoughton County, we partner with, again, Stoughton County Agency on Long-Term Care. One of the things that's great about having the area agency as part of our programs in Area 2 is that we do a lot of cross-training with our staff. So that involves cross-training with all CAP staff who benefit from the fact that the Area Agency on Aging is located right in our office. And that helps us be more effective partners in those areas where they're not co-located, but we're trying to make sure that we have strong partnerships with them. Before we move on from this slide, I just wanted to give you a little more information about where we are and who we are. So in that dark blue section on the map, CAP's service area, from the northernmost point to the southernmost point of our service area, there are 331 miles. So it takes us about 6 hours to drive from the northernmost part of our service territory to the southernmost part. And in that area, we serve 21,632 square miles of territory. We have a total population of just over 300,000 people. And so in our service area, there's a lot of difference in what we're dealing with at the community level. So for example, in in those 26,000 square miles, we have both the largest county in terms of land mass in Idaho and the fourth smallest county in terms of land mass in Idaho. We also serve the third most populated county in the state and the fourth least populated county in the state. So lots of need to really pay attention to the communities that we're working with and the specific needs that they have, because it differs because of location and geography extensively throughout our service area. The key industries are agriculture, manufacturing, mining, timber, and tourism. And just one last little tidbit so you can have an idea, maybe see in your mind where we're located. So Lewiston, where I am, where our headquarters are located, and where Kristen is going to be talking to you from as well, is at the northern end of what's called Hell's Canyon. And Hell's Canyon actually happens to be the deepest river gorge in North America. It's about 2,000 feet deeper than the Grand Canyon. So that draws lots of people to our area to tourist activities involving that section. We also are only located 745 feet above sea level here in Lewiston. We're in the beginning of this very deep gorge, and we are the most inland seaport on the Pacific coast. We're about 465 miles from the Pacific Ocean. So just a little better idea about who we are. Next slide, please. So given the fact that we have a large service area, diverse geography, and needs differ from community to community, it's really important that we have strong partnerships. And we've really recognized the strength of having a strong partnership between community action programs and our area agency on aging programs, both the one that's co-located with us and the other two in our service area. As we strive to meet the needs of all family members and serve the entire family, we know that oftentimes the person who's coming through our door isn't representative of what that whole family looks like. There are often kids, there are often elders in those families. And so we want to make sure that somebody walking into a community action office has the opportunity to access any kinds of assistance that they would need for any of their family members. We've been intentional about meeting needs of elders through all of our programs. So one of the things we did to ensure that intentionality was we started doing a combined community needs assessment process. We have to do, those of you who are involved, who are community action people, you know that every 3 years we have to do a community needs assessment. And we've started being very intentional about assessing the needs of elders as part of that process, so that it's not separated out, and it's something that we're really paying attention to. We also have connected further those programs by having an advisory council member on our community action partnership board. That person continues to lend voice at that leadership level to us. I mentioned a bit ago that we cross-train staff. And one of the great things about that is that it increases the impact of all of our programs and services, allows us to assist people more completely. So just a couple of quick examples. We have energy assistance LIHEAP staff who work closely with our area agency on aging staff. And those two staff groups are cross-trained. So if somebody who's providing an energy assistance application hears from that family that there's an elder in their family, they're able to easily start identifying what services might be available for that elderly family member, and vice versa. If our aging staff is working with somebody and recognize that energy assistance would help their household, they are able to start that process of getting an energy assistance application done. Our weatherization program, we have crews that go into people's homes, and they're seeing firsthand what a household looks like, what their housing situation looks like. And because of our cross-training with Area Agency on Aging, they're able to identify if there's an elder in the home that might need assistance, that they know who to connect to. They're able to get service seamlessly delivered as they're out there in that home doing weatherization. And one of the things that those of you who are on the line who work in rural communities will recognize that this is true, I think, in every community, but in rural communities, we really see the importance of CAP staff being in and of the community. So they are trusted connectors for people of all ages. And it allows us to increase the impact of our Area Agency on Aging programs because we have trusted staff out there who can connect them directly to those aging programs. Next slide, and then I'll pause. So just a little bit more. It's easy to talk about intentional inclusion of the needs of elders in our community needs assessment process in areas that we're co-located in, but we also do that in areas where we're not the actual Area Agency on Aging program. So those of you on the line who are CAP professionals, reaching out to your Area Agency on Aging and being very intentional about including information that the Area Agency on Aging might need in their area plan process, and recognizing that it being inclusive, including elders, allows us to serve the entire community better. We also do an impact report where we have integrated all of the impact that CAP has, including our Area Agency on Aging program. So we want to measure our impact for all community members. And by integrating both the needs assessment process and our impact report, we're able to take a look at that across every age group in our community. And then we've also done things like include information for all ages on our social media. So right now we're celebrating both Community Action Month and Older Americans Month, and we're including information about resources, celebrating both of those entities through our social media. So again, while that's easy to do in North Central Idaho, where we are co-located, it's something that every CAP program and every Area Agency on Aging could do to ensure greater access and greater inclusion of people of all ages. So thanks again for the opportunity to be part of this. We're thrilled to have you all joining us today. And with that, I'll pause and turn it over to Dr. Howard.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I feel like even though I didn't step one foot outside of my home today, I've learned so much in the last 15 minutes, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that your agency is doing. And I can't wait to learn even more. So happy Older Americans Month and happy Community Action Month, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with you today. And how amazing is it to be able to go on a virtual site visit to an agency where we can celebrate the outstanding work of both our community action agencies and our area agencies on aging. We've already heard from Deputy Assistant Secretary Edwin Walker and Lisa Stoddard, and in a few minutes, we'll get an opportunity to hear from Judy Taylor, the Director of the Idaho Commission on Aging, and Christian Smith, the Director of the North Central Idaho Area Agency on Aging. And I truly cannot thank my esteemed colleagues enough for both the work that they do every single day to make a tangible difference in the lives of low-income individuals and families, including older adults, and for agreeing to take us on this virtual site visit. I know it was a bit of a lift. As many of you know, the Office of Community Services mission is to address the causes and consequences of poverty, increase opportunity and economic security of individuals and families, and revitalize communities. And we work with individuals across a lifespan to ensure individuals and families have what they need to thrive. This mission is intrinsically tied to ACL's mission to maximize the independence, well-being, and health of older adults, people living with disabilities, and their families and caregivers. And we know that across the country, community action agencies and area agencies on aging have been working together for decades to meet the needs of older Americans. We also know that there are additional opportunities for us to expand our work in this area. This is why last year, Das Walker and I began to identify ways ACL and OCS could collaborate. And in January, we developed and signed an MOU between our two offices. While we know that many OCS funded grant recipients and ACL funded grant recipients already partner in various ways, we are committed to helping our grant recipients find new and reimagined ways of meeting the needs of older adults and people with disabilities, particularly during the pandemic and our recovery from it. And we are also encouraging OCS and ACL grant recipients who have not typically worked together to identify ways to partner to best support these populations. Working across our networks, we know that more Americans will be able to envision a brighter future for themselves and their families. Das Walker and I are committed to continuing to identify opportunities and resources to connect our networks and maximize our collective efforts. And we hope that you'll also share your ideas with us. And speaking of ideas, I'd like to thank our incredible Older Americans Month Committee for the fabulous idea of opening up this virtual site visit to the CAAs and the AAAs. Many, many thanks to Das Walker, Dr. Yolanda Butler, Christy Samuel, Sin Davis, Caroline Karmowski, and our fantastic facilitator, Skip Muller, for not only pulling together this event, but having the brilliant idea of opening it up to all of our partners. And thank you so much for joining us today. With that, I will turn things back over to Skip, as I am excited to hear from Judy and Kristen next. Thanks, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Laniqua. And thank you very much, everybody. And now we're going to hand it over to Judy Taylor, Director of the Idaho Commission on Aging. We're really excited to hear from you. Take it, Judy.
Well, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and go on to the next slide, please. Well, greetings from Idaho. Again, I'm Judy Taylor. I'm the Director of the Idaho Commission on Aging, which is the designated state unit on aging here in Idaho. Organizationally, we are out of the Office of the Governor and we're a standalone agency. Of course, we administer the Older American Act funds and distribute those money through our 6 area agencies on aging. So let's go on to the next slide, please. I'd like to give you a few more facts about the state as a whole. And first of all, as a registered nurse, I want to acknowledge that not only are we celebrating the 2 occasions that bring us here today in May, but we also just finished National Nurses Week. So May is very meaningful to me as a professional, as it hits all the points of my professional career. So a shout out to all the nurses in the group. But back to Idaho, context is everything. So I wanted to give you a little wider context of how our CAPS and our AAAs function within the unique culture of our state. We are 13th largest state in landmass, but only 34th in population. In fact, the last statistic I found is that we have 19.8 people per square mile in Idaho. Not a lot. As you can guess, that translates into a healthcare professional shortage. And one of the first things I want to talk about, the context of Idaho, is that our entire state is an underserved area when it comes to both primary care and, of course, specialties. One of the ways that plays out is we have 5 gerontologists in the whole state. So obviously, one of the things we need to do when we represent older people is try to educate our health professionals and our direct care workforce around aging issues. In our state, the majority of primary care is actually delivered by advanced practice nurses, which is a little unusual. We have 27 critical access hospitals and 141 federally qualified health centers. We have a direct care workforce shortage that's exacerbated by some of our wonderful neighbors, Oregon and Washington come to mind, who pay a much, much higher wage than we do. We follow the federal minimum wage, and that's not attracting a lot of people into the direct care workforce. So that's an overarching issue for our state that we are collaborating across the state to try to solve. We have a very healthy economy, which of course also draws a lot of people out of that direct care workforce. We have a growing population. COVID has attracted a lot of people into our state. And unfortunately, that has contributed to a very hot housing market. People are getting priced out of the housing market. One thing we've seen that drive, of course, is more 3-generational families under the same roof, which makes it even more practical to serve the whole family when they walk through the door. We have tended in the past to have had a very young population, along with Utah, who is our sister state to the south. We've been very young in our population. We now see that slightly changing, and especially in the rural areas, we are an aging population. Here in Idaho, we are a very typical Western culture of self-reliance, independence, strong communities, and neighbors helping neighbors. We are very much in Idaho. We view the government as needing to be non-intrusive, transparent, and efficient. And of course, the government is viewed as a resource of last resort. It is an expectation in Idaho that charity starts at home and that we all take care of each other before we would ever look to the government for help. One of the things that helps support that is Idaho is ranked 5th in the nation in our volunteerism rates. And number 1, again, is Utah, which is our sister state to the south. So you can see that CAPS would fit in very well into the Idaho culture. It's as any other not-for-profit organization that is really looking to harness the energy and the resources of the community itself to serve the community. So CAPS, not-for-profits, organizations that rely on volunteerism are very well accepted in Idaho and certainly seen as the answer and solution to most community-based problems is the community themselves. We have a citizen part-time legislature. They come into town January and tend to sine die by mid-March. We have a constitutional amendment that we pass balanced budgets. We're very conservative in our spending. And lastly, I want to talk about the get her done philosophy here in Idaho. I know many other state directors who have never taught to, say, their counterparts in other state agencies, or who would have a hard time speaking to their governor or anybody else in the state. And that's just not the way things are in Idaho. Here in Idaho, I can pick up the phone and I could call anybody within the state government. I would get an appointment, I would get face-to-face time. It is absolutely expected that we would cooperate with each other, that we would work together to solve problems, that we would be efficient, that egos and bureaucracy would never get in the way of getting things done for the citizens of Idaho. So Here in Idaho, we have those 19.8 people per square mile. There's not a lot of place to hide. So in Idaho, you are known by who you are, what you represent, and what you accomplish for the citizens of Idaho. So I wanted to just give you a little context about the culture of Idaho and why the CAP and the AAA being co-located actually works out so well, because cooperation is both expected and rewarded. And the fact that the community is helping the community is what we call the Idaho way. So I thank you for this opportunity. I hope you feel a bit like you've had a chance to visit Idaho. We would welcome you in person if you ever show up, and Hell's Canyon is a wonderful place to visit. So I saw a comment about someone thinking it would be great, and it would be. So come on down and welcome to Idaho. And Skip, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you, Judy. That was wonderful. And in fact, I was the one who made the comment about Hell's Canyon. I still haven't, I've done some work in Idaho, but I haven't had a chance to travel around and really see the beauty of it. So I need to get a trip out there. And wonderful words. Thank you so much for your presentation. That was fabulous. And next up, we've got Kristen Schmidt, who has served as the director of the North Central Idaho Area Agency on Aging. That's a good one. It's an area agency on aging for the last 5 years. Kristen, we would love to hear about your work and your wonderful organization. Over to you.
Hello, yes, thank you for the opportunity to share about the work that we do. I'm really excited to be here. I would like to recognize first all of our AAA and community services staff doing really the high impact direct services that I'm so fortunate to be able to share about today. Next slide, please. The vision of our AAA is to bring elders and vulnerable adults into relationship by maintaining quality of life, dignity, and independence. So we work to support seniors with programs and services to stay in their home and maintain their independence as long as possible. Next slide, please. AAA contracts with multiple service providers to bring services at low or at no cost to seniors. We have 12 senior centers in our service area that contract with us to provide nutrition services through congregate and home delivered meals. Congregate meals provide seniors 60 and older an opportunity to connect with others to decrease feelings of isolation and loneliness, and to receive a healthy and nourishing meal. Often at the senior centers, seniors are playing cards, visiting about their week, or sharing pictures of a loved one before and after their meals. And then home delivered meals are provided for seniors who are unable to stand and prepare a meal. And we know this because we conduct assessments as we do our enrollment so that we understand their living situation and their activities of daily living, or ADLs. Both of these services, meal services, are provided at no cost. We also offer transportation services provided at no cost. And this service is designed for persons 60 plus to enhance access to social services, medical and healthcare appointments, perhaps shopping, civic functions, or recreation. And this service is meant to be available to those who have no other means of transportation or perhaps are unable to access existing transportation. We really recognize that community outings and visits with family and friends reduces, again, isolation and increases quality of life. This transportation service is a door-to-door service with often very friendly, engaging conversations during the ride. We also often have seniors contact us about legal matters, and we contract with our Idaho Legal Aid Office, and they provide information and assistance from anything from tenant-landlord issues to end-of-life matters. This is an incredibly important resource for our seniors and their loved ones. We also contract with local caregiving agencies to bring a homemaker or a caregiver into the home. Again, back to the initial assessments we conduct, where we are able to develop a picture of the needs of our seniors have. And so it might be similar for those of you that are familiar and have a really specific process for a CSBG or Community Services Block Grant intake conversation. I see those as similar events. Certainly, the AAA one has more questions regarding health and self-care. But anyway, back to the picture. Then we identify if we're able to serve that individual through perhaps a homemaker program, which will send a caregiver into the home to do light housekeeping, perhaps take out the trash, get the mail, laundry. The things that many of us are able to take for granted, this is a significant source of support for our seniors with limited mobility. And then with respite care, this is for our individuals that are providing round-the-clock care for their loved ones. The respite gives the caregivers a chance to leave their loved one at home with someone who is trained and able to pick up the caregiving duties until they return. This really allows our caregivers to do some self-care or household business. They may use the time however they choose. They can take a nap. In Idaho, the AAAs are the adult protection agencies throughout the state. We have adult protection specialists investigating reports of abuse, neglect, exploitation, and self-neglect. And our adult protection program specialist regularly connects with our local Nez Perce tribe to share resources and information for clients, and they do the same for us. We also have an Ombudsman Program to advocate for resident rights in skilled nursing and assisted living facilities. Our Ombudsman honors the residents' desire to maintain their dignity and to have choices and to have as much autonomy as possible. The Ombudsman may provide education to residents, loved ones, or a facility. And they may act as a liaison or a voice for the resident, so they may have their needs met within the facility. We offer Senior Medicare Patrol, which provides education for filling out applications and answering Medicare questions. And we also provide vaccination education where our staff will go out to those senior centers, and senior centers are encouraged to just invite the community to come in, and we present and have a survey after the presentation to be able to learn more about what we can be doing. And we offer an Alzheimer's support group. And then trainings, these wonderful trainings offered by our education specialists. One is called Powerful Tools for Caregivers, and the other one is Chronic Disease and Self-Management Education. Next slide, please. So when Lisa and I were talking about how this collaboration of leadership for community services and AAA would look on the ground, one thing really rose to the top for us. Well, many things did, but the specific one that I want to talk about is which provides the foundation for all of the other work we do cross-departmentally. And the goal was to increase and strengthen the understanding staff have of the other departments within community action. Having such strong collaboration between the two departments is a result of specific activities. And so having weekly team meetings with the AAA and community services staff, cross-departmental trainings. We did an entire agency-wide family-centered coaching training. This was a 6-month-long training with the prosperity agenda that helped increase our confidence and competence in coaching. Both departments attend community events together and are able to speak about both programs and actually help more people when they're perhaps manning a booth at an event. And really our staff, because as a result of all these things that are happening, our staff are having impromptu meetings that encourage a deeper understanding of clients and services. And we are also regularly connecting with the community service staff within the tribe to best determine how to support our tribal members. And then even really simple things like AAA staff are included in email communication about community services and vice versa. So the outcome is that we have very knowledgeable and skilled staff providing comprehensive services and support with confidence and respect, increasing our seniors' quality of life. And so how this looks is that staff understand the work of their colleagues well enough that they could present with confidence at a community meeting. And they are able to help our clients not only with the reason they came to us for support, but other services that they may not have known were available. And we have cross-department meetings that meet to support our social media and website. We have a DEI committee that brings forward education, self-assessments, and best practices around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have bilingual staff, and then of course, work closely with our local Nez Perce tribe. So as an example, just kind of give you a little example, a senior visits our office asking about nutrition services. And we help them locate a senior center for congregate and home delivered meals. We discuss local food banks that are available and the reason why our AAA staff are really tuned into the other food bank offerings or other pantries or other meals available at no cost is because of that constant collaboration with community services. But then as the conversation goes on, if that same senior makes a statement that they are really struggling with their fixed income, our AAA staff can ask, could I share with you about our weatherization or our energy assistance programs? That could eliminate some of the money you use to cover those expenses and can allow for the dollars that are freed up to be used in another way. So if the client wants to learn more, we provide a warm handoff to an energy assistance specialist that can take their application and provide help paying for their energy bill. So they might come in food insecure thinking, okay, what do I do next about these things? And they're really able to be served in so many ways. So there is no wrong door for accessing our services. In fact, I want people to call us first. And because if we do not provide the services they are seeking, we can provide referrals and advocacy to another agency, and then educate them on the programs and services we do have. So I am interested in hearing feedback and glad to answer any questions that may have come up.
Thank you so much.
Apologies, I could not find my mouse on the screen and I've been chasing it around, so my apologies. That was just wonderful, wonderful, Kristen. I really appreciate your words. That was impressive to see how comprehensive your services are. And as someone who in the past cared for a parent with dementia, I really appreciated the fact that you have a program to care for your caregivers. That's really impressive. Thank you so much for that, and very impressive. But so now we're going to go into the interactive portion of this. So you've all been sitting there taking in all this great information from people, but now we're going to give you a chance to really interact. So we're going to get some questions that we've already put together, and we're going to open up the first two questions for our partners, Dr. Howard and Mr. Walker, to pose them.
Thank you. I will say I have a question that was kind of a burning question for me, but I will say that Jeff just put a question in the chat that I'm also very interested in too, because Kristen, this no wrong door approach is just absolutely phenomenal. And then I think you did an absolutely fantastic job of kind of taking us through what that looks like on the ground and for a family who's looking for services. And Jeff's question is, are there written policies on the no wrong door? So I'll ask his question first and then I'll jump into mine. So I thought his was great.
Yes,
So,
we.
Oh, go ahead, Kristen. I was just going to say we don't have specific written policies, but Jeff is our neighbor. He is next door to us in Whitman County in Washington. And so we can certainly share more conversation about that approach and how we have communicated the desire for that to be how people access us to all of our staff.
Wonderful, thank you. Anything else you want to add, Kristen, before I jump into my question?
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I've learned a tremendous amount, I think, both about Idaho and about our CAAs and our AAA agencies and the work that you all are doing. And I will just say I'm thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. And it is the promise of community action is coming through. I think particularly in both of these all three of our presentations, but just in the way in which you're providing services, the way that you're thinking about it. And I also know that you have some tribes and tribal organizations in your service area. So I wanted to check in just to see how are you partnering with, how are you coordinating with your tribes and tribal organizations as well?
Yes, this is a fun one, actually. I recently connected with our local senior citizen coordinator that works for the tribe. And we were working on kind of having visits. So they said, you know what, we could actually see if some of our participants in our program for food, for congregate meals, we could provide transportation to get them to come over to another local meal site, and they could share conversation, meet new family or meet new faces, and really perhaps have it where then the other program that they visited, then they can travel. And so that was just such an amazing idea that that Georgie, our tribal contact with the nutrition services had. It was just really a great one. We also, like I said, really connect and have a very strong relationship in our adult protection program. And so they are often contacting one another. And I think that it's, it's the simple things. It's not anything that's just grand, but it's those really wonderful conversations and being able to pick up the phone and just ask a question. And then we also have, we've provided in all of our service areas and invited certainly all of the individuals that are in our service area and more. And we've also offered in the tribal community a scam jam. So like for for our senior Medicare patrol program. And so we're able to provide all this information and answer questions and then direct them to the appropriate resources. And then certainly with energy assistance, we want to make sure that anyone who is eligible for multiple services, that we make sure that they are. So we just really respect the work of our neighbors.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to turn it over to Das Walker.
Thank you so much, Dr. Howard. And I see a question in the Q&A that is directed to Judy, I believe, but it does relate to a number of items that I was wanting to comment on. First, I'm so pleased that we are not only showing at the community level the coordination, but all the way from the state level through the area agencies down to the community level, because that's how our funding goes. And we believe that that's a great example. So thank you, Judy, for highlighting how it's almost natural for you to coordinate and collaborate with your colleagues at the state level in order to enhance and enhance services, but also to achieve the mission. But there's a question here that says something about how are you coping with in-home services workforce shortages? And I didn't know if you could comment on that.
I would love to, thank you. We, of course, are addressing the problem on a state level. We're working with IHCA, which is our organization that represents our long-term care centers in the state. We're working with the Department of Labor. We're working with the Office of Aging, which is a think tank out of Boise State University. And we're bringing all of our best thinking to the problem. But we are not waiting for that problem to solve itself, because we can't. People need services right now. So we have turned to consumer direction as the ultimate solution to the problem. And not only is it the ultimate solution to the problem of a lack of direct care workforce, it's actually the better solution than even strengthening the direct care workforce, because it's person-centered, because it's promoting independence and autonomy in the people we serve. So we are currently running we've completed one consumer direction pilot, which happened in one of our very rural counties and was actually implemented by our local senior center in that community, who we contracted with to help support our consumer directed clients. And that came out beautifully. And in fact, we often try to convince our AAAs to participate with us around pilots and then moving into statewide demonstration projects. And in this case, we have the AAAs knocking down our door, wanting to get ahead of us, because everyone is seeing the value of consumer direction. We talked a bit about how there is definitely an insider-outsider mentality in rural areas. That's just classic. And no one likes an outsider coming into their home. Even if you could find an outsider, it's not ideal. They want to hire their pastor's wife. They want to hire the grandchild of their best friend. They want to hire someone that's already a known and trusted insider to come into their home and give them services. So we are currently doing 2 more pilots around consumer direction, where we're broadening it out to an entire AAA. And then we will be going into a statewide demonstration as of next summer. So lots and lots of resources directed towards consumer direction as the ultimate solution to our direct care workforce problems.
Thank you so much. Back to Dr. Howard, or just Skip.
Thank you. And so it looks like there are a number of questions. So I will pass it to Skip to get us through some of those. And I'm not sure if people want to actually unmute themselves and ask their questions, or we can just go through them.
Thank you. Sorry, yeah, that mouse pointer is really hard to find. So, okay, thank you all for your patience. Yeah, we've got some great questions here. So, how about I'll pose one of the first ones that was posted here in the chat, and let you all fight to answer it. We'll have some fun here. So this one is about programs for elders. The anonymous attendee asked, older people often have to rely on government programs if they did not save enough for retirement, or if they've had to stop working for medical reasons. If they are not able to help themselves first, how are you including them in your support systems without judgments? And I think part of that question too then is like, how do you make it? So even if you have a program that exists, how do you make it so that people will feel enticed to come and look into it, I guess. But you're all experts on this, so I'll let you answer it. Who would like to take a whack at that one? Okay, Lisa.
I can start just by saying it's one of the things that I think is really valuable in connecting community action and AAA programs is the mindset that community action agencies bring to our work, which is about meeting people where they are. And so we spend a lot of time with our staff really doing training and setting that expectation that we meet people where they are. And that allows us to suspend all judgment and to approach them in whatever way they need us to, show up in their lives. So I think it's one of the beauties of having stronger connections between the programs, that mindset that community action brings, that we're all doing the best we can, and we're here to provide assistance and support regardless of choices or family situations. We know that if we can strengthen families in our community, people in our community of all ages, the community as a whole is better off. And so I would just say that whole idea of meeting people where they are helps us to suspend judgment in any kind of service delivery.
Lisa, that's a great answer. It's thank you very much for that. And thank you, Judith, for asking the question. So she became unanonymous. But anyone else have anything to add to that topic? Judy or Kristen?
I will just say that one of my roles is when I interact with our state elected officials every year in order to get our appropriation and be able to serve the people we serve. It's my biggest job to paint the picture of how we serve everybody, how we serve their neighbors, their loved ones, their own family members. It can be where people who do need the government are somewhat viewed with suspicion in Idaho. So I'm very careful about explaining how we are merely serving all those citizens who served our state for years and years and years, that contributed to their communities, that taught the children, that were the pillars of their community, and now they're depending on us to serve them. So it's one of those very fine lines I walk by putting a face on the people we serve, and how them needing us now is nothing more than just the normal circle of life, and that we can't drop the ball now that it's our turn to support them. So.
Oh, thank you, Judy. That's great. Kristen, anything on that one, or? Okay, well, we will move on to the next question then. So I'm gonna, and again, please, folks, do not hesitate to use the raise hand button there if you would like to come live and ask a question. Don't feel shy. Otherwise, you can type more of them into the Q&A box. But I will go to my trusty toolkit here with a few other questions that we've got teed up. And first one is, what types of partnerships do you have at your agency with other communities and community-based organizations or entities that are vital to the execution of your work? And whoever would like to jump in first, or I can call you out. Kristen, since you didn't participate in the last one.
Yes, we are so fortunate to have each of our offices, just our community services offices nestled within communities across our service area. And then we have our area agency on aging office in Lewiston. And so not only do we have partnerships where we will go to an interagency meeting and perhaps hear about all the other things that are going on in the community, services, events, things that will benefit the people that we serve. And so then we go back and we'll go to individuals that provide information or services on housing, on perhaps food services, nutrition services. And so when someone comes to us, and if we offer a service or perhaps that's outside of what we actually provide, we are knowledgeable enough to be able to send them to those partners. So we have a partnership with United Way, the Twin County United Way, and we have received funding for many years to supplement our aging work. And so, I mean, I can talk more, but there's a lot of partners and we're very fortunate to be able to just work with them.
Well, it makes sense with all those comprehensive services you're doing. I imagine you would need them. So how about you, Elisa? Would you like to approach that one?
Sure. Judy said something earlier where she talked about harnessing energy and resources of communities to solve community problems. And I really think that that's the role a lot of times that our community action program plays. There is definitely a sense in Idaho that neighbors are responsible for neighbors. And so not only do we partner with, kind of the other human services organizations and funding providers in our communities, but we're partnering with, the local schools, local businesses, anybody who has a stake in that community is welcome and willing to be a part of addressing the issues in the community. And so I think, I'm not sure that that's a uniquely Western United States value, but it certainly serves us well in building on that sense that we're all in this together. And we do have, Kristen mentioned, we have offices in all of the counties that we do work in, because it is important for people to be in and of the community. Judy talked about, the consumer direction approach, and people wanting someone they know. And we have found that same thing to be true, that people are willing to partner in communities if they know staff. So in Lewiston, if I travel all the way north to our office in Bonners Ferry and want to do work in that community, I'm not nearly as effective as our staff person Liz, who lives and works in Bonners Ferry. And so just really leveraging that idea of local people solving local problems allows us to partner with really anybody who wants to be at the table.
That's great. Thank you very much. Judy, would you like to chime in on that one?
Well, again, our partnerships tend to be on the state level, which is so we partner a lot with our Department of Health and Welfare, which provides health and human services in our state. The Idaho Food Bank, Idaho Legal Aid. We tend to partner a lot with our universities. Our universities are very important in Idaho. It's any community that has a university, that functions as the local think tank and a place for new ideas and new projects to come out of and start. There's certainly especially grad student free labor that we rely on in many situations. And of course, we have to prove that what we do works. So we turn to our universities to do most of our independent third-party evaluation. So our universities hold our tech centers and some of our federally supported education centers. So I would call them out as very good partners on the state level. We also tend to partner a lot with our hospitals. Again, we don't have deep resources in Idaho. So whenever there's a big organization, they wear a lot of different hats in supporting their communities and their states. So even down to our critical access hospitals are very good partners for reaching into the communities. If we want to put on, say, a CDSME, a chronic disease self-management program, we tend to work through our local critical access hospitals as trusted insiders to help do the publicity, to be the site, to support our efforts. Our public health districts, again, we use them in the communities of which they are, where they're already considered trusted insiders, to extend our reach. Our public health districts they have our contract to put on a lot of our fit and fall proof classes, which is our evidence-based fall prevention programs. So any organization in Idaho that is a nexus of resources, we partner with, because there's just no other way to get things done. We're too thin otherwise.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Judy. Great comments. Well, the next one is, I think everyone probably knows, under the administration, we have a lot of goals of increasing outreach to the tribes and tribal organizations, and would love to hear about your experiences with the tribes and tribal organizations, and what successes and challenges you have in serving them. We'll go in no certain order. Who would like to lead? Lisa?
Sure, I can start. We have worked and continue to work really hard to cultivate those relationships. Just like all of the other work that we do, it really is about building relationships with individuals. And so while I think a lot of times we think, oh, we have to get the leadership or the tribal leader connected to us so we can make headway. And really, actually, what we found is that we are able to make the most headway when we're connected to individuals. And so it's, people doing similar work to us. Our staff are connected with them on a daily basis to talk about how to better serve somebody who's coming into either our office or their office. We always participate in events together. So anything, housing fairs, any kind of tribal event that goes on, when we're asked to participate, we make sure that we're there to talk about resources and to show that we support the work that they're doing and the goals that they're trying to reach. We have done things in the past like sharing knowledge and training. So our Weatherization program has provided quality control inspection services to our local tribes as they were working to develop their weatherization programs more fully. And so we've participated in shared training and resource use. We have representatives on our community action board. Right now we have a woman who is an enrolled member of the Nez Perce tribe as one of the representatives representing low income folks on our CAP board. And she is a dynamo representative. We love having her on there. And we've had other folks from the tribes in the past serve on our board. We also try to reach out and help our staff develop a greater understanding of the challenges that crop up sometimes in that relationship with the tribes. So for example, we have an all staff training day coming up in September, and part of our training day is going to be spent learning about generational trauma as it pertains to the Indigenous people and families in our area, because we don't understand that. We didn't experience it, a lot of us, and so we need to bring that knowledge and understanding to our staff just to further deepen those connections and relationships. So it's an ongoing process. There are times that, it's been very challenging to form those relationships and make those connections, but we know that part of our work as a community action program is to serve the entire community and to look at places where there are inequities in our community and step into that space. And so we're committed to, at the beginning, I did like a land acknowledgement. We have that. Every person working at CAP and in the Area Agency on Aging has that tribal land acknowledgement in our email signature. So we're continually just trying to strengthen those relationships, which then leads to stronger partnerships.
That's great. Thank you very much, Lisa. Kristen or Judy, would you like to make any comments on that topic?
I'll make brief comments. On the state level, we were just lucky enough to hold an all-day ADRC event on the state level. And we had Larry Curley and Rebecca, I'm sorry, I forget her last name, come out with us, along with tribal leaders from across the state. And it was a wonderful day. It was just so hopeful and satisfying that we could meet together. So we have just re-upped relationships on the larger state level with all of the tribes. As I speak right now, our Shoshone tribe is putting on their annual adult abuse prevention conference on tribal lands, and I have 3 staff members there that are participating. And Edwin will tell you, Louise, who is our regional administrator, is also at the meeting. We're very excited about. So things are also happening on the state level. We have a new state plan due to ACL in October of 24. So we are putting together, of course, our outreach plan as we speak. And we have had good participation in the past from our tribes on our state planning committee. And we assume that we'll have even better this time. So things are going quite well. As we know, those relationships have to be nurtured constantly, so we don't take them for granted.
That's great. Great words, Judy. Thank you so much. And I can't believe how time has flown, but we're already at the 5-minute point or near there. So I'm going to hand us over to Dr. Howard to start our wrap up.
Thank you so much, Skip. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. Thank you to our esteemed panelists. I have one last question for Lisa and Kristen, and then I'm going to turn it to Das Walker to just close us out and say goodbyes. Lisa and Kristen, and I didn't prep you for this, but given all of the work that you all have been doing to really coordinate across CAAs and AAAs, can you leave us with one gem for us to take away? And how do we coordinate and cultivate these relationships? What is like the lesson learned that we have to walk away with today?
I can jump in and start that. I would say it's really been about intentionality for us, and that intentionality is something that can happen, wherever you live and work. So we have been very intentional about breaking down those silos. The goal of providing seamless services for every family member who comes in our door, and really not just assuming that we're reaching all the folks that need to be reached, but that we're very intentional about including those voices upfront in planning, and then continuing to build on that relationship and be inclusive. And I think if I was walking away from this, I would feel like I can intentionally make those connections and start to build and deepen those relationships, which will allow for this same kind of seamless, no wrong door approach.
Thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to Kristen next.
Yeah, yes, I know both Lisa and Judy really talked about those relationships, and that's where we really lead from in terms of collaborating and connecting between departments and between with our partners. I would say that our planning and our consistency and really getting individuals in the room, even within the agency, to be able to share best practice and learn from one another about how we can best serve.
Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that those gems were front and center. Thank you, everyone. And I will turn it over to Das Walker now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Howard. And I really want to thank you. That's the message. Thank you all for this incredible virtual visit. It has really turned out to be so great. And it serves as one more important lesson of how the world, and I would say in particular, our world has been impacted, yet how we have adapted to and responded to meet the challenges of the pandemic. So my message is mission accomplished. We are so pleased that you allowed us in to see and to learn about your collaboration around community services for the benefit of the people in your area. You've not only provided important information and presented a model of ultimate collaboration, but you've whetted our appetites for physically visiting Idaho in the future. So thank you for presenting your model. Thank you for your hospitality, but most importantly, thank you for your dedication and your service and that of all your staff to the mission of our respective agencies. I know Dr. Howard agrees with me that this has been a great visit and one that exceeded our expectations. We hope others have learned something as well today and that they've garnered ideas for enhancing their collaborations. But one last time, thank you, Dr. Howard and her incredible team at OCS and the Community Action Agency Network, as well as to the AOA ACL staff and the Aging Services Network. And certainly thank you, Lisa, thank you, Judy, thank you, Kristen. You truly exemplify the very best in community services.
Thank you, everyone. And then one last thank you to our Older Americans Month committee, because without them, we wouldn't have all been here on this virtual site visit. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.
One last thank you to all of you. This was we were very excited to be part of this, and also along with that excitement, a little bit like, how is this going to work? And both of your teams did fabulous. We felt absolutely prepared and supported, and so thank you both very much. Come to Idaho. We'll host you in person next time.
Absolutely. We'll be there. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.